Hi guys, my name is Michael and this is my linear scleroderma story. I first noticed something was happening. Actually, my mom was the first one to notice something happened when I was in the 6th grade. I was at a pool party. I got hit in the face with a foam stick, one of those floaty foam sticks, by one of my friends. She noticed that I had this brown stripe running down my forehead. She thought it was a sunburn or that I got hit with something, and I told her, oh yeah, somebody hit me in the face with a foam stick. We didn't really think anything of it at first, but then it didn't go away. A few days later, the mark was still there. You can kind of see it right there. This brown mark. It's not quite center, but it goes just off the center down my forehead. You can kind of see how the indent happens on the forehead. It slopes down right here, and then there's a little brown mark right there under my lower lip. The mark under my lower lip is kind of weird because nothing actually hit under there. When linear scleroderma is activated, that it goes down your forehead and under your lower lip if you have the kind that affects your face. So I've heard linear scleroderma can be affected by trauma. I don't know if getting hit in the face with a foam stick was what started it. That's when we first noticed it start. After a while of it not going away, we went to a regular doctor and then he didn't know what it was. So we went to the dermatologist and he actually said that he wouldn't think much of it because pregnant women actually have discolored marks on their skin when they're pregnant. And I said, I'm not a pregnant woman. I don't know what's going on, but I'm pretty sure that's not it. We got a second opinion. We went to a different dermatologist. He came up with a diagnosis of linear scleroderma, or on Coup De Sabre, on Coup De Sabre. I don't really know how you say it, which means mark of the saber, because it literally looks like someone hit you in the face with a sword because you have a gash going down your face. Then I was recommended that I go to Seattle Children's Hospital. The first doctor that I saw there was a dermatologist, I believe. She didn't know exactly how to treat it. She knew what it was because we told her. She said that I would be better off going to the rheumatology department at Seattle Children's. They didn't really know what to do about it either. I think she had one other patient that had linear scleroderma, but it wasn't the kind on your face, it was the kind on your limbs, which is much different. It's very rare. I heard 1 in 10,000 people actually get on Coup De Sabre on your forehead. Treatment for that wasn't the best because they had medications for it, but they didn't exactly know how to fix it or if it was fixed or exactly how to measure progress. Initially, she was just taking out a tape measure that you would use on clothing and measuring how long it was and measuring how wide the mark was on my face and writing that down. But it all depended on where she put the tape, and the progression of the linear scleroderma was so slow. From visit to visit, she couldn't tell if it was getting deeper or not because it wasn't the best way of measuring. My dad actually had a micrometer, which is a little ruler with a slide on it that you can, almost like calipers, that measures things down to like the 6th or 7th decimal place. Started using that to measure where exactly the depth was going after a while, because the whole problem with linear scleroderma is it's actually the tissue develops too much collagen, I heard. I'm not quite sure about that, but the tissue starts breaking down underneath the affected area. It actually goes deeper and deeper into your face, which is great. Not great. We would take little strips of clear overhead paper, like for an overhead projector, and we would tape them across my forehead, and then he would measure the depth from the piece of plastic to my forehead to see if the depth had changed or not. I think we did that once a month or twice a month for a couple of years. So my dad was measuring the depth and the length of the affected area on my face, and the doctor started trying out different medications. The first medication I tried was a cream that I would rub on my forehead several times a day, often at school. I did not like the cream at all. It would get really itchy and kind of hot, and it would almost feel like it was burning. I'd rub it all on my forehead and then a little bit under my lip, and then I'd go to school, and several hours later I would just have to wash it off because it was so itchy and tingly and burny. I don't know if that's a word. It was not good, and I couldn't stand to have it on my skin, and you're supposed to leave it on for it to have any sort of effect whatsoever. I don't know if it was like a steroid cream or what. It wasn't good. The next thing I tried was methotrexate. I tried the pill form of methotrexate, and it's a immunosuppressant. They use it for cancer patients and all different types of autoimmune diseases. I tried one pill over the weekend, and then I would try 2 pills over the weekend and 3 pills, and I was slowly bumping up how much I was taking until I was at, I think, 6 pills. I can't remember the dose exactly. They tasted awful. They weren't coated. I had to mix them with yogurt. You weren't really supposed to mix them with food, but that was the only way I could eat them. I also had to go in for blood and urine tests once a month because methotrexate can be hard on your kidneys and your liver, and then have that sent to my doctor to make sure I could keep taking the medication. By this time, I think I was a sophomore in high school. With just 1 pill, I wasn't getting sick, but 2 pills and 3 pills, I started to feel very nauseous. I would throw up usually throughout the day because it kind of made me feel like I had the stomach flu. Everything tasted really bad, kind of like metallic. The only thing that I could get down over the weekend was strawberry flavored popsicles or grape flavored popsicles. So I ate a ton of those just to help me get the taste out of my mouth. I would get done with school on Friday and I'd go home, take my medication that evening, go to bed, and then I'd wake up essentially feeling sick. When Monday rolled around, then I'd be well enough to go back to school. I did this anywhere from 6 months to 8 months before I decided that I couldn't do it anymore. I needed a different type of medication because all my weekends were essentially ruined, spending the whole weekend being sick and then going back to school, and I still couldn't tell if it was working or not. They gave me a choice to do injections. While that seemed a little bit scary, what I thought the benefit of that would be the injections would be going straight into my veins, it would bypass my stomach, and then I wouldn't hopefully feel as sick. I soon learned though, after I started doing injections, that it just made me sick immediately. I would do injections Friday night and then I would start feeling ill almost like 10 to 15 minutes after I had my dose, and then I would go to bed feeling sick, and then I'd still wake up sick, and then I spent the next 2 days being sick. So that really wasn't working for me either. By the time I was in high school and I had received a proper diagnosis and I was doing the medication, the disease typically burns itself out anywhere from like 6 to 7 years. It had already been about 4 or 5 years by the time I was getting to this point. I went to the doctor and I said, I don't want to take this anymore. It's making me sick. You guys can't tell if I'm getting any better or if the disease is progressing or not. It doesn't seem to be affecting me as bad as some other people's forms of linear scleroderma is. We just kind of agreed with the doctor that I would stop taking medication for it. They said that they thought it was probably burned itself out. I stopped taking the medication. I haven't had any real problems with the area on my face since then. I did notice a new spot on my cheek. I had a blackhead actually, and I pressed really hard to try to pop it, and then after I got it, I developed this brown spot on my cheek. Might be related to the linear scleroderma because it just stayed a brown spot and it never got better. Ever since then, I don't pop pimples anymore, and I don't recommend you do it either, just to be safe. I kind of lucked out that I have more of an olive skin tone anyway, because over the years the brown patch that developed got lighter and lighter and lighter, so it kind of matches my skin tone a little bit more. It was a lot darker when it was active. I used to have people come up to me and tell me to wipe my forehead because I had some dirt on it, and that used to happen a couple times a week. Now no one really notices it at all unless I mention it. What I used to do to kind of even it out, I'd put 70 sunblock on just the patch that was affected, and then I'd put like a 10 or a 15 on the rest of my face to kind of like tan it together in the summertime. Autoimmune diseases run in my family, so it wasn't too rare that I got this, I guess. Even though it is rare, my grandma on my mom's side all on my mom's side. My grandma had regular scleroderma, the kind that affects your internal organs and it kind of locks up your jaw and your hands. My aunt has lupus. My cousin has lupus. My other cousin got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and an uncle also had rheumatoid arthritis. Something I did notice in high school, I used to get a lot of headaches. They almost felt like sinus headaches. They were localized to the front of my face. It would just feel like there was a lot of pressure buildup, and I don't know if the linear scleroderma was affecting my sinuses or if they were even related at all. But that's the one thing that I actually could feel from the disease. So now I'm doing just fine. I haven't had it affect any other part of my body. Over the years, I've become really health conscious. I changed my diet. I eat a lot more fruits and vegetables now. Started taking a lot of wheatgrass shots. I watched a lot of really good health food documentaries. I'll put a link to a couple down below that I really liked. This one documentary actually goes through about 12 different people with autoimmune diseases and how they were able to go off most of their medications just by going on a raw vegan diet, which is pretty cool. I highly suggest that you do a lot of research. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment below and I will gladly answer them. I hope this video was at all helpful to you. I couldn't find a lot of videos on YouTube that talked about linear scleroderma on Coup De Sabre. I wanted to make this video to add to that community. I hope it helped you a little bit or comforted you in some way just to hear a person talk about it. I hope you have a good day and I look forward to your questions. All right, thanks guys. Bye.